everybody, this is Mike, this is Low Def Media, and this is take number 3. Yes, sometimes when creating content, you don't get it right the first time, or the second time, maybe the third time. The time before this, just for full disclosure and transparency, I used my Canon G7X Mark III and took that SD card out, put it in the old laptop, and it was no longer working. I wouldn't recognize it. I've tried it in a variety of different computers. I tried different connections, thinking maybe the dongle was the issue. So I connected a different one and same result. So that SD card is now in the trash. And so we are now on number 3. So this is take number 3. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? Well, today I want to talk about the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro. And I've said this about 3 times now. And so I think I've got a pretty good working idea of what I want to convey. I'm a big fan of Insta360. I have a lot of their products. And so this is by no means a diss track on Insta360. No, quite the opposite. I appreciate what they do. I just don't understand why they did it. How about that? When it comes to Insta360, I bought their first commercial 360 camera, the Insta360 One. And I love that camera. That was such a unique camera. Love taking that on vacations, getting that whole 360 image. Now, granted, it wasn't the best image quality, but it was groundbreaking. And then I followed that up with the X3 or the X2, then the X3. I've got the Ace Pro. I've got the Insta360 Flow. I've got the Go 2 and Go 3. So I am a big fan of Insta360. But when I saw them release the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro, had to say I was perplexed. If you look spec-wise between that device and its predecessor, the Flow Pro, they're eerily similar. Only a few things separate the two of them. The one thing that separates them is the group focus capability. Now that's nice if you're going to be using your gimbal in a group setting, but to be honest, I don't see that happening very often. And if it does, again, you're using a smartphone, so a smartphone is usually pretty good about capturing the entire group. So I don't see where that is all that important. It does allow you to remote control the gimbal remotely through your phone. Neat feature, but again, I don't really see the value in that. Normally, when I have a gimbal, I've got my camera on the end of it, my phone, and I'm using it. And there's not a whole lot of interaction that I need. I'm not stepping away from my gimbal and having it track me in a scenario. So that's my style of content creation. And to be totally honest, I have probably 3 or 4 gimbals, and I can't remember the last time I deliberately used either one of them, any one of them. I prefer handheld. I just take my camera and I go. I don't want any barriers between me and my camera, and this is just another piece of equipment that gets between me and what I want to record. So I don't use it very often. Now, there are other content creators who might use a gimbal a lot. That's just not me. So let's get back to the gimbal, the Flow Pro and the Flow 2 Pro. The other difference is that in the new version, now this is what you'll see similar to the current, or the Flow and the Flow Pro, this straight arm, okay? I like this form factor. This is very easy to put away. It's very convenient to take with me places. Love it. But I do recognize that this part, when you connect your phone to it, does hinder your range of motion when using the phone, and it will bump into the arm. Now, I have other gimbals, like this one, that has this little joint here, so you don't have that concern. And so it allows you to get really low, really high, and it's got a full range of motion. So I do understand the value in that. probably should have come out with it in its first iteration, but I understand why they did it this way. And it doesn't bother me. Again, that's not what this kind of gimbal is for. I'm not looking to create cinematic masterpieces with this type of gimbal. I have a FDuce Max G6 that I use that for. And again, it's going to do all the things that you need a gimbal to do. And it's a bit overkill for a cell phone, in my opinion, but it does all the things. So the Flow 2 Pro is really confusing to me because of a couple things. One, I don't see a lot of people using a selfie style gimbal out in the wild. I just don't. I don't use it. And so I don't understand why the need to improve the form factor and the software on an existing gimbal that was perfectly fine for the market it was catering to, content creators and those folks who want to use a selfie gimbal when they're out on vacation and when they want to capture those moments, okay? So that's number one. Number two, I don't understand the price point. I mean, it's only $10 different, and so you're going to now compete with people who might already want to buy the Flow Pro. So they're going to bypass that because for $10 more, you can get the new one. And now you've lost a segment that might actually buy a more inexpensive model and then create another segment that would buy the more expensive model, and you're selling both. But now, because it's only a $10 difference, everybody's, in my opinion, anybody who's interested in the Flow Pro series would go for the 2 Pro because it's just $10 different. And so now what are you going to do with all the other Flow Pros that you have in your warehouse? And then I guess number three, I get what they did, but do you believe that those enhancements, aside from the form factor part, those enhancements are enough to justify a new gimbal? Why not just do a software update on the pre-existing one and not create an entire new gimbal? So those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? First of all, do you use a gimbal? If you create content, and if you're watching this channel, you probably do, because that's what I talk about predominantly. So do you use a gimbal when you create your content? And if you do, what type do you use? Do you use the Insta360 series of gimbals? Do you use maybe the Hohem or DJI line of gimbals? Which ones do you use? How often do you use them? And are you intrigued by this one? I will tell you this as a parting thought. This gimbal here is a gimbal that I bought at Walmart. It's made by Vivitar. It is bare bones basic, but the only thing that I really needed to do is stabilize my footage. But in a moment of total honesty, cell phones have really good stabilization now, and a gimbal probably isn't even all that necessary. But if you want to use it for a really smooth panning motion, this is what I use. It's $50 at Walmart, and it folds up very nice and compact. And so if you do it the right way, turn it this way, I mean, look at that. I mean, it folds down nice and easy, goes right in a backpack. $50 does what I need it to do. I don't even need to use the software that it comes with, because when I use the software in this one, it dumbs down my resolution to 720p. So I use it with my native camera app, and this works fine. Okay, works fine right out of the box. So why then go out and spend $159 for something that I probably won't use anyway? And I don't know of too many people who would either, because you just don't see them out in the wild. So hey, I'm gonna wrap it up. Let me know your thoughts. And if you like talking about content, if you like talking about content creation, the equipment that goes with it, hey, do me a favor, become a subscriber, hit that notification bell so when the next video drops, you will be notified. And if you liked this content, and if you liked today's video, hey, do me a favor, leave a thumbs up, helps out the channel. And as always, I do ask that you leave a comment, because I like to know if this is the kind of thing that my audience likes to see, wants to see, or if they would like to see something different. So let me know. But hey, this is Mike. This is Low Def Media, and we will see you in the next one.